that allows people to virtually plant grapevines in some of Israel's top wineries, and is expanding to interview programs with some of Israel's biggest celebrities and influencers. The program, called Wine on the Vine, the online shop, now features everything from summer rosés to dark reds. And to talk more about it and give us a delicious taste, Adam Scott Bellos, the founder of Wine on the Vine. Thank you so much for being with us. Tell us more about Wine on the Vine. And as you do that, explain to me what we're going to sample here on the show.
First, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. And it's a perfect afternoon for a summer red. You want to give it a taste?
Yeah, sure.
So this is the Bravdo Coupage. L'chaim.
Bad luck if we didn't start with that.
150%.
So what is this here? It's delicious.
It's delicious, right? So this is the Bravdo Coupage. It actually comes from a really unique family vineyard right outside of Tel Aviv in the municipality of Gezer. It's called the Yaakov Karmi Yosef, or the Bravdo family vineyards. This is a blend of all of their best grapes, and it's actually sold in the States. Coupage is French for blend.
All right, so tell us, this is one of the many wines available. Tell us more about the project and the site.
We started a project 4 years ago as our flagship project called Wine on the Vine, and the entire idea was to reboot the Zionist movement. Back in the day, Theodore Herzl started the JNF, and people planted trees to build the Zionist movement. So I thought to myself, how do we reboot Zionism in a way that can, kind of use the old nostalgic ideas, but, packaged in a way that's palatable for our generation? So the Israeli wine industry was becoming what it is today. And somebody said to me, why don't you plant grapevines the way the JNF does trees? And I said, that's a great idea. So we turned it into a philanthropic project that would support different charities across Israel and help build the Israel Innovation Fund. And when COVID happened, I realized that I didn't think a lot of people were going to be writing $18 checks for a certificate, if that makes sense. So I wanted to connect the rest of the world to Israel at a time where everybody was so disconnected. So we decided not to stop the program, but to enhance it. And we opened up an online wine store called IsraWines.com, ISRA wines.com, Israel Wines. And we sell as many Israeli wines that we can get our hands on that we can sell to the States. We work with a number of wonderful, gigantic wineries.
Now that the Israel and the world in general, the Western world, but especially Israel, exiting from the pandemic, I guess, how do you continue with that? What lessons have you learned during the pandemic? What new opportunities are there into the post-pandemic age?
So one of the reasons why we started TIFF was, like I said, to reboot the Zionist movement. And in my opinion, when I was in college, I noticed that there was a lack of vision and leadership, and there was a lack of content that wasn't propagandistic. And I think that COVID really gave a lot of people the opportunity who saw the importance of content, ways to expand their organizations and/or programming. So we really focused on high-quality content with thinkers, doers, wine tastings. We focused a lot on creating that link between you to Israel, whether or not it was physical or not.
A lot of people drinking wine, a lot of people getting drunk during the pandemic, right? This is what you're stuck at home.
Yeah.
So how many wines are available on the store? I mean, what kind of vineyards are we talking about?
We have over 183 different products on our store at the very least. That I know for a fact, just because we translated all of our products recently to a different language. So I learned how many individual products are
these Americans who are interested in supporting Israeli vineyards or just Israeli businesses? Are they who's behind it?
Listen, Israeli wine still isn't that popular in Israel. It's also rather expensive. There's a lot of regulation here that prevents the industry from growing. You look at a place like New Zealand and Australia, they're exporting $2 billion of wine a year. We're only exporting 50 million, and we've been in the industry longer than they have. You see a lot of people, especially young people, but also people, I would say our parents' age, want to support Israel in a different way. And the big thing is that when you buy Israeli wine, you're fighting the BDS movement in a way that has never been done before. You're creating jobs. You're buying a product that comes from the land. The grapes come from the dirt. You taste, every bottle is that taste of like the land of Israel's specific plot of terroir that vintner has cultivated.
Delicious. It tastes delicious. But the website one more time.
IsraWines.com, and if you ever want to plant a vine, it's wineonthevine.org.
Incredible work you're doing and delicious wine. You know how to entertain, I'll tell you that right now. Adam Scott Bellos, thank you so much for being here on Zoom In. Great to have you. One more for the road.
L'chaim.
And I'll introduce the story.